welcome back on this Friday morning. Let's quickly go over that forecast. Finally, just a beautiful week in store and a beautiful weekend. We're at 56 degrees out there already. That 30% chance of rain has dropped down to about 10%. We may just see a shower, a pop-up shower that is, but it doesn't look like we're going to see much rain at all over the weekend. And what a beautiful Easter Sunday is going to be. If you hear something that's Maddie in the background, just adding to the atmosphere, I want to introduce you to two very special ladies up here this morning, Valerie and Alexis with me this morning. Wow, you guys. Now, Alexis, I've known Alexis for years, and you can be found down there at Star Market in 5 Points. And ever since I've met Alexis, she's talked about her husband who she felt was murdered, and she was writing a book, and they were doing a big study on it, or not study, but investigation. Alexis, that day is here. You have the book.
I know.
Congratulations.
Can't believe it.
I mean, this happened in 1968.
Right.
Tell me very briefly, we're talking about your husband. This is 1968. He was killed. You have 2 children by this man. He just kind of disappears. What made you think it was a murder?
There were rumors that they had found his car and with the bullet holes, and
yeah, bullet holes kind of give it away, don't they? There's a very good indication.
And a friend that he went to school with, she had seen him shortly before it happened. Just stories that people had come forward with.
Now, this is something Cold Case has actually, you like a cold case file. This is like something you would actually see on Cold Case. It's called Mississippi Whispers. Where can people get the book?
Where can people get the book?
Where can people get? You actually have a book signing coming up. It's going to be Saturday. It starts at 2 o'clock at Star Market.
Right, and there's also going to be another signing at Emma's Tea Room. She wants me to have one for her. And Books A Million and Barnes & Noble, we have spoke to them.
Great.
But this is our first one, so
be there Saturday.
Planning on going to Oxford, Mississippi, and then to Mississippi State. And where else, Valerie?
And Valerie's up here because actually you wrote it. Alexis is your aunt.
Right.
So, I mean, you've kind of probably lived this story with her.
I have. I've known my aunt, of course, all my life, and I knew my first cousins. We're always really close, and I knew that her husband was missing. Didn't know really what happened to him. Just
a lot of
kind
details.
of grew up knowing that something happened. And then in 2010, someone came forward, a childhood friend of Buddy's, came forward because she decided to talk after all these years.
And usually happens.
Yeah, so she talked and gave some evidence. So the FBI in Mississippi reopened the case. So the cold case became an active file. And then there was talk about a grand jury trial. So that's when I got involved and started paying attention and listening and talking to Alexis, taking notes, my sister and I did, and pushing forward to have a book made so that maybe more people who might know something could come forward.
And the name Mississippi Whispers, it really is that, because I mean everyone was so quiet about it, and in that time you didn't get a lot of assistance as far as check on this, it just kind of went dead.
No one knew anything, which seems a little strange in small towns. It's hard to do much without people.
And we don't want to say too much about it, because if you like reading suspense not novels, but if you books, you're going to find this one fascinating too. Now here you are. It's 1968. You have 2 young children. Your husband is missing. Now this isn't in a day and time where I imagine that's never easy, but you had to have been scared.
I was brave.
Yes, you were.
I left, we had been separated since, I think, March, and then I went back to him. We were separated 3 months, and then I went back, and then it just didn't seem like it was going to go like he said. So I took my 2 sons and moved to Chicago, not knowing if I was going to have a job or what.
You just up and there they are. Now, Buddy was known as being a smooth talker. He was a charmer. He certainly was that. So I can see where that getting back together, and you've got 2 children from him, so you wanted that to work. Obviously, did things different. Normally, Alexis, though, when you get a divorce or you're separated, you're leaving, you decide that's it. I'm not coming back. But why'd you care?
Because of my two boys, you know, they were curious. Daddy coming home.
They never had any closure. Still, you know, really
Right.
didn't know. Well, you have, from what I understand, they're two very striving young men, and you've done good. And she's always talking about how good looking they are.
They look like their dad.
What was the biggest shocker to you? I know that I asked Alexis in the break, I said, you know, was this always on your mind? Did you just always think about it? Or just, you know, a lot of people would say, get over it. He's gone, move on.
Yeah, I've heard that too, and you just don't do that. When you love somebody, it's always a place in your heart. You just don't forget, you move on like that. Mm-hmm. And when I see my two boys, I see him. So it's hard.
Oh, I imagine, and they really probably don't have a lot of memories of their dad because they were so young.
John does. He was the oldest. He remembers some about him, but he's very emotional. He has yet to look at the book. Mm-hmm. He said, I will read it. I'll get to it. But he's very emotional about his dad. Always wondered what happened to him.
Without saying exactly how the book ends, would you say at this point you have any closure? Or is it still ongoing?
I think maybe with this book, someone will come forward because from what I've been told, there may have been 5 or 6 people could have been involved in this. And his friend that took his life shortly after this all went down, some of his friends are still living.
So you're hoping it may urge them to speak up?
That was one reason I wanted to write the book. I just feel like, you know, God, if it's meant to be, God will let it be. So I thought by writing the book, somebody may pick it up and say, oh, I remember that. And they're getting up in age now, so maybe
They need to
before
clear
they
their
leave here,
conscience.
they need to confess and make it right with God.
Good point.
So.
Good point. Well, Alexis, I'm so proud of you because I'm telling you, for years, for like 7 years when we were doing the Star Market commercials, she was like, I'm getting closer, I'm getting closer. I'm so proud for you.
What about Nancy Grace?
Yeah, Nancy Grace would be a good one to be all over
She
this.
ain't nowhere near as big as I am.
Okay, Jamie. Well, that is great. Well, get out there. If you really like suspense books, you need to try to get a copy of this. It's called Mississippi Whispers. Is there anything else you want to add about this? I mean, your journey? You feel good about it?
Oh, yes, most definitely. But Valerie and her sister, they were the ones that I had thought about several times. I can't finish this. I just can't do it. So they came over one day and, we'll help you, Aunt Lexi. We'll get it done. So they were my support.
Well, that is awesome. Glad you were there for her.
And if nothing else, if there never is an answer to what happened to him, the book's out there, his story's out there, so he's not forgotten, and it's a tribute to him and his short life. I mean, he disappeared when he was 25, and Aunt Lexi was 23. That's awfully young.
It sure is
You
to be
know.
all alone, and then 2 children, and then up and moved to Chicago. So, yeah, from Mississippi to Chicago. Brave was definitely a good word for you to use.
And if he did get involved in something,
There was some shady
if there was some
situations.
shady criminal activity. He was young. A lot of people make mistakes when they're young.
Many.
Right. And
Even
so-
when they're old.
Right. So it's about, the book's about forgiveness and moving
You
on
also
and how
have
you do it. Yeah.
a section in the book about forgiveness, too.
Yeah.
Well,
So
good.
just a
And he
tribute
was
to
so
him.
handsome.